Houston Dynamo, Portland Timbers, Sporting Kansas, Los Angeles Galaxy,
Pitch Pass,
Toronto FC, Real Salt Lake, Chicago Fire, Columbus Crew, FC Dallas, New York Red Bulls.
Pitch Pass, your all-access credential to the people that matter in MLS. Here's your host, Greg Roach.
Thanks for checking out Pitch Pass. Really appreciate it. You know the whole spiel. Tell love with your friends, the whole 9 yards. We got a lot to get to today, so I can't do all the backstory stuff. John Strong, who is the play-by-play voice of the team that had the biggest result of the past weekend, Portland Timbers. He will join us later on in the show, but really glad to get this guy on for the first time in Pitch Pass. One of the great personalities in Major League Soccer and his career, just kind of having a renaissance since he's been with the club he is with, which, by the way, is Real Salt Lake. Our goalkeeper run on Pitch Pass continues with Nick Rimando, who joins us now on Pitch Pass. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Good to hear from you, Roach.
It's great to talk to you. It's been a while. And you know what? We were, right before we started rolling, we were talking a little bit of music, and I don't know. I don't want to dwell too much on what's going on the pitch. I'll ask a couple questions about that later, but I kind of want to catch up with you and let everybody else know that you got a lot going on outside of soccer, and you're to me, one of the best tweeters, at least for MLS players, because you give people really good glimpses in your life. So we were talking music. What are you feeling these days? What concerts have you hit up in the last few weeks?
Man, I don't know. I guess what pops in the head is old Face to Face. I just went to their show the other night and really brought back some memories. Shows I'm going to see in a couple of weeks, and this week I'm going to see Soulja down at the Depot. Vampire Weekend's coming in a couple of weeks. But just really into alternative right now. Drake, obviously. But yeah, just a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah, you're very well-rounded as far as your music is concerned, and I also like that you do take the time to get out to shows. In the off-season, do you go out more than you do during the season? I would imagine you would.
No, I mean, off-season is off-season. Here in Salt Lake City, I think we really get everybody coming by like in the summertime, spring. It's not that great during the winter months when we have off. And during those winter months, I like to get back to California, Hawaii, relax. Get away from Salt Lake City a little bit. But if there's a show in California, I'm definitely going to. And we all know that LA has a big music scene.
Tell me about your relationship with, I think it's the dude from Rancid. Because I see you guys tweeting back and forth. How did you guys get together? And he's a big soccer fan, correct?
Big soccer fan. He didn't used to be. Lars in the band brought him to his first Real game, and he had a mutual friend of mine at Interscope Records, and the mutual friend kind of got us on an email, and we met up after the game, and that game he became like a real fan of not just soccer or Real Salt Lake, but with soccer, and he was really into it, and how the game didn't stop, and how physical it really was from his perspective, and he just really fell in love with it, and he became a season ticket holder out here, and he's a local from Utah, and now he's following the national team around. We're in the States. He's in the equipment room. I mean, this guy is everywhere, and he really has a passion for soccer. So I think it's great.
How awesome is that you were able to do that as kind of like I'm a fan of the band, you should have him come out, and it turns out he turns into a super fan of soccer.
Yeah, I think it's great, man. He wants to. We always talk about this, but he wants to be in my shoes. I kind of want to be in his shoes. I want to live that rock style life, and he wants to be on the field and kicking balls around and saving shots. But I can live vicariously through him. I'm pretty happy with the way my career has been going.
Now you have done like a fantastic job of making yourself part of Salt Lake City, and I think to a lot of outsiders, and to an extent me included, you have this idea of what Utah life is like in Utah, especially the social scene. And you're going out to shows, you got a lot going on. Tell everybody who's not from Salt Lake City about the nightlife, or at least the social life of Salt Lake City, and try to burst some of those preconceived notions that people have about life in Utah.
Yeah, I'm okay with not saying anything because everybody has a bad perspective of what Utah is, and it's not overcrowded, and we get all these great restaurants to ourselves, and the lakes and the mountains. But that's exactly what Utah has. Is it's a big little city. It has your great restaurants. It has your bars to go to. Your it's not the best nightlife, but there definitely are 5, 6, 7 places that are great places to go after a game to have a pint. There's a couple soccer bars. There's, like I said, if you want to go up to Park City, there's the mountains, and there's a great street up there, Main Street. In the winter, you have your mountains to choose from to go snowboarding or skiing or whatnot. And summer and spring, you have beautiful lakes out here. So I love it. The weather's great. It's not humid like I bet it is right now in D.C. But there's great weather. When it's spring, when it's summer and winter, and it's not like a cold, winter. The snow's there, and then the sun comes out and melts it all away. Utah really is. It's a beautiful state. It's something. It's a state that really embraced our team, and I think through our success on the field, it's really become one of the staples in Utah.
You talked about having a pint. You got a beer named after you now. So tell me about the beer. There's no chance I'll have one, right? It's only available on draft, or do they bottle it?
It's on bottle. Yeah.
Well,
it's on bottle for sure.
Well, Nick, how about you kick a little the DC's way if you could, please?
You might have to come out here to purchase it.
Come on!
You get it.
All right. Well, tell me about the beer.
I can't be bootlegging anything. No, yeah, it's. I was a supporter of this brewery, Epic Brewery in Salt Lake City. It's a local brewery that has fantastic micro beers, and I became friends with the owners, and always kind of chatted about having a beer and how it kind of correlates with our fan clubs and tailgating, and the opportunity came where they did like a little side beer company, Unsacred, and as you know, there's like 3.2, 4% beers on draft here, and you could only get 3.2 or 4% beers at the grocery store, gas stations, and have to get the regular percentage beers at the state alcohol store. So they wanted to be in the market with every other beer that was 3.2, and they made this beer that was 3.2, 4%, and they wanted me to have one of the bottles, and it was a no-brainer for me to be involved with Epic Brewing on Sacred, and to get my face, on a beer was like a dream come true.
I don't know. To me, that's the coolest thing ever. Just having your own beer. Like you've obviously you can't age those beers because of the low ABV, but you can definitely take a couple of those bottles and put them away for prosperity, right?
Right.
It's awesome.
I think it's rad. That was like one of the things I'm very proud of. My son thinks the coolest thing is still that me and Jackie have bobbleheads, but I like that, the whole my face on a beer bottle.
I love that because there was a while that for Fox Soccer, Jet was like in every promo. Because after you guys had won, he was like, because you had him there on the field, and so every promo shot was you and him putting the arm up. I was like, dude, that is the coolest kid in the world, and here he is in every promo now.
I know. We need to win something again, so everybody can see how old he is now, and he's picking me up now.
Well, I wanted to go back to the national team games and just get your perspective as a guy who was on the field for the craziness that was the snow game in Denver, and then down at Azteca, and then everything leading up to that with the article from Brian Strauss coming out, and just what was your take as a guy who was in the mix but kind of watching from the sidelines?
Yeah, it was. We knew it was going to be cold, and all during the week it was cold, snowy. Guys, were training as that's how the game was going to be, and leading up to it mentally, I think all the guys were focused and ready, and Klinsmann had us prepared of any kind of situation. That wasn't the situation that we thought we were going to be in, and warm-ups was fine. snow, but snow that kind of got kicked up and wasn't staying, and went back in for warm-ups after warm-ups and came back out, and literally it looked night and day of what it looked like before warm-ups. And we had thoughts of is this game going to really be canceled, or is it going to be played? And sure enough, the whistle blew, and we're seeing the people on the sidelines working and talking with promotion people and the TV people and FIFA and chatting, and we're like, oh yeah, this is for sure going to be canceled. and sure enough, they kept on playing, and the more snow came down, the more Costa Rica started complaining more and more, and I think the more we got into it, we scored a goal, and I think that's why the complaining came, as we scored a goal and Costa Rica didn't, and it was definitely a crazy atmosphere, a game to be a part of. Even though I was on the bench, it was crazy to see how we played that game with so much heart and dedication, and came with a huge 3 points that we needed.
Well, I talked to Brad Davis after the match, and because I wanted to see, was it chilly on the bench? Were you just kind of miserable? And his response was, well, actually, I was up in the press box, so I was pretty warm. Which was, all right, fine. So, Nick, you were on the bench. Was it miserable? Just because if you're out running around, at least at some point you break that sweat and you get warmed up. But you're just sitting there. Was it miserable sitting on the bench?
In the beginning, like I said, I was in shorts for warm-ups and just the top. And when I came back out, I had my sweats on, just a regular jacket. They gave us stadium jackets, but I didn't even put it on. A beanie, and literally 10 minutes into the first half, this chill just came over you, and it just felt, my toes froze inside of my shoes. I had to take my shoes off. I had to put them on. I had to take them off, put them on, and try to bend my feet, get circulation down there. I mean, it was intense on the bench for sure. But I don't know. Like you said, those guys are running around. The adrenaline's going on the field. Maybe they're a little bit warmer. They're wearing way less clothes than us. So I don't know if I buy that too much. But I was definitely cold on the bench.
And you're the good luck charm, as far as I'm concerned, with Azteca. So when you're 45, you still need to get called up for matches in Azteca, because when Rimando is there, USA gets results.
Hey, I'm with that. I have that theory too, man. We got the result in Italy. I was on the bench. We got the result against Russia. I was on the bench. August, Mexico, on the bench. There's a little theme going on that I'm on the bench a lot, but
but you're there. That's all that matters.
When you got a guy like Tim Howard and Guzan in net, it's a little bit more respected, I guess.
Well, let me go back in time, because if you had said when you left United that you would be taking these trips with the national team, I don't know if you would have said you're crazy or not, but after you left United, you went through a patch where you didn't know where you were going to be playing, and there was a lot of, well, what's he going to do? And I remember talking to you, and you were like, well, I got some things lined up for Europe, and I'm going to do some trials there, and it was just like, oh man, I want this guy to get on a team, not even thinking excel on a team, and then put on MVP type performance and win himself another MLS Cup, and then get back in the national team picture. Did you get down on yourself during that period after United, but before Salt Lake?
Yeah, I think that was the lowest part of I've ever been in my career. I mean, everything from trying to have a baby to not having a team, not knowing where I was going to be, how I'm going to support my family. I literally had a going away party and was so down and depressed that I didn't even show up to the party. And it was just a miserable time of my life. And I was told I was going to go to Salt Lake, and then negotiations weren't going right, salary caps, and we already rented our house, so we had to be out of our house, but we didn't know where we were going to move to. We didn't know where to tell the movers where to go. I mean, there was so much stuff going on. I just got so overwhelmed, and it was just a very dark place in my life. And luckily, I got on with New York, and then came to Salt Lake, and again went to New York, and then came back to Salt Lake City, and I think everything kind of came into perspective of, listen, this job's not going to be here all the time, and you got to really work for it and get your position and treat it like it's your last game every game, and that's what I did when I came to Salt Lake City. I treated it like this might be my last team, my last go ahead, and they created something great here. Jason became the coach. He brought, not only good players, but good players with attitude, great attitudes, and really reformed this team in Salt Lake City. And I was lucky enough to have Jeff Gassar come in and really get my game back to where I wanted to be, and the confidence that I knew that I could play at. And during that time, it was like, am I good enough for this team? I'm going to go to the lower division team, and then play there, and then kind of come up. And talking with my agent, he's like, listen, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You don't want to do that. And again, I guess a long story short, I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that I'm focused and I'm consistent, and Salt Lake has given that opportunity, and I made the most out of it. And now we got a consistent team that is fighting and for that title every year.
So do you think the difference was twofold from then? I'm talking about your DC United days to now. Was it the mindset of I gotta go out and win this job every time I step on the pitch, and then also your work with Jeff?
Yeah. I think in the beginning, for sure, it was that. It was I didn't want anything given to me. Even when Coach Ellinger was here when I came, he came out to me and he was like, I know you don't want anything given to you, so let's roll the dice and whoever has the best preseason. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to prove myself. I didn't want to be given anything, and that's everything in life, and that's how I was growing up, to prove yourself. And I had a good preseason, and the first year it wasn't like going as planned, and we weren't playing great soccer, and I was getting scored on, and I wasn't myself in net. I was doing making a lot of mistakes, and I came out, and I think Sites came in, and it was the same kind of thing. He wasn't consistent and making mistakes, which is more, I think, more okay, because he was a young
he's a young guy.
They make mistakes, and I was supposed to be this guy coming in, not making mistakes, and my confidence wasn't there. And Jeff came in and really got my confidence back, and ever since then, I feel like I've been a consistent goalkeeper that their team can rely on.
I know MLS fans know this, but you go all the way back to the Miami Fusion days, and the rumors are starting to swirl now that Beckham, the investment group that he is leading, is interested in going back to Miami. Do you think MLS can work in Miami?
I don't know. I don't think it's been done yet. We had our team in Fort Lauderdale, which is about 40 minutes north of Miami. From the outside looking in, it looks like a no-brainer. I mean, you have the South American, just the mix of nationalities down there that you have. You think football would be huge down there. But as you've seen with all their sports, something's not ticking, something's not right. And who knows, maybe a name like Beckham is what sports needs down in Miami. I think if it works, it's a great place for it. I mean, the sun's always out. You're going to have a nice stadium. You're going to have a big, group coming in, investment group, going to put a lot of money into it, or else MLS won't let you in. And I think it'll be a great place for it if it's better than the Miami Fusion was, because we didn't have the best stadium. We didn't have the largest fans come out to our game. So for MLS to continue to go up, I think you need that. You need to be in a place where you're going to get fans, and it's going to be a place where players are going to want to play.
What does Jackie think about the new women's league? Yeah.
I think she likes it, man. I think anything is great. I think anything is great for these young kids. I think they need role models, not just us. I think girls need girl role models, and I mean, you can't have anything better than Abby Wambach and Alex Morgan. I mean, just to name a few, but she's actually playing with the Real Salt Lake women's team.
What? Wait, are you breaking news here? How long has she been doing this?
Yeah, she's been training with them for the last 2 weeks. Got a call, and she was like, you know what? I might as well get back in shape.
Yeah, so she's not like she's 50 years old. She's still in her prime.
I know. And I was like, what's going to happen, right? You're gonna, and it's below the women's league. It's like one league below.
For now, Nick.
What's
for now,
happen is you're going to ball out. You're going to be the best player on this team. Score so many goals. Somebody's going to get injured, and they're going to want to call you up. And you're going to let me here with our two kids.
And that, How awesome would that be? Oh my God, Jackie Little's back.
She is. Jackie the Jet Rimando is back.
Well, I have to ask you about some RSL questions. A little bit of an inconsistent start to the season. What do you guys need to do to, I don't want to say get back on track, but what do you guys need to do to make sure that you guys are at a finely tuned machine that we know that team can be? Yeah, and that's the thing. You said it. You know that what kind of team we could be. We know what kind of team we could play. So we, in the locker room, we know it's not good enough. The coaches know it's not good enough. So we got to just, I think it's simple. Pay attention to detail. If you're in your position, what are you going to do to help the guy next to you, in front of you, behind you? And don't just do your job. Whenever we go out into the field and play as a unit and help each other out and play together, that is when we are at our best. Not when we're at home, not when we're at away. It's when we play together and we fight. Before we became a consistent team, it was all about fight and battle, and that's what MLS is right now. It's battling first and fighting, and soccer will come out. So as long as we do that first and battle and fight, we know how we could play. We know we could play football. We know we could pass. Our midfielders are amazing with the ball, and defensively we're great. But we got to get those details down, where to be on corners and set pieces, and not let anything silly up like that, or just our shape and when to step, when not to step, and just kind of get on the same page. And I don't want to make it an excuse or anything, but we have a lot of guys that's been injured in preseason and barely coming back right now. So once we get our health back and we get in a little bit of rhythm, I think we're going to be fine. I do, and I think right now is not where we need to peak. It's at the end of the season, so we got a long ways to go, and hopefully we just continue to move forward. Before I let you go, I'm going to assume the answer was yes. When the question is was it hard for you to watch CONCACAF Champions League? But if the answer is yes, because a lot of people in the media will debate back and forth, what does CONCACAF Champions League mean to MLS? Is it an important priority? Is it something we should be focusing on, or should we be focusing on making sure our league is in order first? As a guy who's been on the edge of winning that whole thing, and no other teams have been as close as you guys, does that make you more hungry to get back there and prove yourself, or is MLS Cup still the end-all, be-all goal for Real Salt Lake, and you specifically? I think that comes into play of where your team's at. Right now, MLS Cup is the most important thing for us, and that's our way back to CONCACAF. If you're a team like the Galaxy or Kansas City, Houston that are in the CONCACAF, maybe that's going to be their priority. They want to be the first team to win that cup. They want to go on to the World Championships. For us, when we were quarterfinals, semifinals, that was the most important thing. We wanted to be the first team to win. Not just to be the first, but we wanted to be the best team and have Real Salt Lake be the name that's the champion of North America, South America, Central America. We, like you said, we were that close, and it definitely things a bit of fire back when I watched those teams on TV and watching Champions League and seeing another Mexican team go for the title, because I truly believe a team in MLS can take that title. A Houston, a team like LA this year, KC, any team that's in there representing MLS, I think is in contention to win the cup, and I hope they do. But if they don't, that gives them an opportunity to be the first. I'm going to ask you to smuggle some of your beer across state lines and get it to me when you guys are in D.C., all right? Man, we already played there. You might have to come out here when they play us next year. I was actually talking about MLS Cup when United is hosting it, and then you guys... Oh. Okay, you're putting more pressure on Olsen's back now. Well, he doesn't need any more of that. Well, you're right, and I know the man who married you. I don't want to put any more pressure on him than living up to the high point of his life, marrying you and Jackie. So you're right. I'm sorry. Nick, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch up at some point. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. It's Nick Rimando of Real Salt Lake. Very, very, very interesting, fascinating guy. Yeah, I said fascinating.